Climate change isn't just a distant threat, it's happening right now. Each day we wake up to a world that's subtly different from the one we knew before. And one of the most telling signs of this change is the shift in weather patterns. You see, weather patterns are like the planet's heartbeat. They're a rhythm, a cycle that has been in motion for millions of years. But lately, that rhythm seems to be changing. It's like a song played on an out-of-tune piano. Familiar, yet somehow off. Across the globe, we're witnessing the emergence of more intense storms. These aren't your average thunderstorms. We're talking about hurricanes, typhoons, cyclones, storms that pack a punch. They're stronger, they're more frequent, and they're causing unprecedented damage. But it's not just about the storms. Some regions are seeing the other extreme. Prolonged droughts. Imagine going months, sometimes even years, without a drop of rain. It's a grim reality for many areas, and it's only getting worse. These shifts in weather patterns are impacting different regions in different ways. While some areas grapple with floods, others are battling wildfires. It's a stark reminder that we're all in this together, that the actions we take or don't take have consequences that reach far beyond our own backyards. Now you might be thinking, okay, so the weather's a bit wonky. What's the big deal? Here's the thing. These changes in weather patterns aren't just inconvenient, they're dangerous. They threaten our homes, our livelihoods, and our very way of life. And let's not forget about the impact on wildlife. Animals, birds, insects, all are feeling the effects of these changes. Their habitats are being destroyed, their food sources are dwindling, and many species are struggling to survive. As we can see, our world is undergoing a transformation. It's a change that's happening right now in real time. And it's a change that we, as a global community, need to face head-on, because the future of our planet and our survival depends on it. One of the most immediate impacts of climate change is on agriculture. Our food system is incredibly intricate, a delicate balance of nature and human intervention. But what happens when that balance is disrupted by changing temperatures and unpredictable rainfall? Consider this. The majority of our crops rely on specific weather conditions to thrive. When these conditions change, crops struggle. They become more susceptible to pests and diseases, and their growth can be stunted. This isn't just a problem for farmers, it's a problem for all of us. Let's take wheat, for example. It's a staple in diets around the world, and it's highly sensitive to temperature changes. Slight increases in temperature can significantly reduce yield, meaning there's less wheat to go around. And it's not just wheat. From corn to rice, many of our staple crops face similar challenges. But it's not just about temperature. Rainfall is another crucial factor. Some areas are seeing more intense periods of rainfall while others face prolonged droughts. Both extremes can be devastating for crops. Too much water can lead to flooding and crop disease, while too little can result in lower yields or even total crop failure. And let's not forget about the farmers. These men and women are on the front lines grappling with these changes every day. For them, climate change isn't some abstract concept. It's a reality that they're living and working with. Their livelihoods depend on stable weather patterns and predictable seasons. These changes pose new challenges to our food security. We may see food prices rise as farmers struggle to adapt and crop yields decrease. This could lead to increased hunger and malnutrition, particularly in vulnerable populations. So, what can we do? It's about resilience, building farming systems that can withstand these changes. We need to support our farmers, invest in sustainable farming practices, and develop crops that are more resistant to changing weather patterns. It's a big task, but it's an essential one. Without these steps, we risk a future where food is less abundant and more expensive. That's not a future any of us want to see. These changes pose new challenges to our food security. Now, let's talk about something that hits closer to home: your wallet. You see, in the face of global warming and shifting weather patterns, governments worldwide are turning to a particular strategy: taxing climate change. Yes, you heard it right. They're introducing new taxes, levies, and fees, all under the banner of fighting climate change. At first glance, it seems logical, right? The idea is that these financial measures can help reduce carbon emissions and promote renewable energy. But here's the kicker. How can we be sure that the funds collected are truly being used to combat climate change? Or is this just a clever ploy to fill the coffers of cash-strapped governments? Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Climate change is indeed a pressing issue that needs to be addressed. It's a global problem that requires collective action. However, the question remains, is taxing the solution, or is it just an easy way out? Some argue that these taxes are necessary to fund the transition to a greener economy. They say it's needed to support renewable energy projects, fund climate research, and help communities adapt to changing weather patterns. Sounds good on paper, doesn't it? But here's where the skepticism creeps in. Are these collected funds being used effectively? Are they making a tangible difference in reducing carbon emissions and slowing down global warming? Or are they just disappearing into the labyrinth of government bureaucracy, never to be seen again? As citizens, it's crucial that we keep our eyes open. We need to question where our money is going, and if it's truly making a difference. We should demand transparency and accountability from our governments. After all, it's not just about paying more, it's about ensuring that our hard-earned money is being used to safeguard our planet for future generations. In the end, it all boils down to trust. Can we trust our governments to use these climate change taxes wisely and effectively? Or are we just funding another round of empty promises? It's essential to question where our money is going and if it's truly making a difference. Brace yourselves for an energy crunch. As the world continues to spin on its axis, our hunger for power and energy only grows. This insatiable appetite has a cost, one that we're starting to feel in our everyday lives. Have you noticed your electricity bill creeping up? It's not just your imagination, energy costs are on the rise. But why is this happening? Well, it's a simple case of supply and demand. As we rely more and more on power to fuel our lives, the demand for energy soars. But the resources we use to generate this energy, they're finite. And as they dwindle, the cost of producing energy increases. The result? Higher prices for you and me. This isn't just about flicking a switch and having a light come on. It's about the energy that powers our homes, our businesses, our vehicles. It's about the energy that keeps our world running. And as the cost of this energy rises, it's going to impact every aspect of our lives. But there's another dimension to this. As we burn through fossil fuels, we're contributing to climate change. It's a vicious cycle. The more energy we consume, the more we exacerbate the very problem that's causing energy prices to soar. So, what's the solution? Sustainable energy alternatives. We're talking solar, wind, hydro, geothermal. These are resources that are not only renewable but also have a smaller carbon footprint. Investing in these sustainable energy alternatives isn't just about saving money on your power bill. It's about breaking the cycle. It's about creating a world where we're not held hostage by the cost of energy. A world where we can power our lives without contributing to climate change. But here's the kicker. As individuals, we can do our part. We can make changes in our own lives. But to truly tackle this problem, we need a collective effort. The demand for sustainable energy alternatives is more crucial than ever. This isn't just about the here and now. It's about the future, our future, and the future of our planet. It's time to rethink our energy choices before it's too late. With the cost of goods and food on the rise due to climate-related challenges, inflation is making a comeback. The economic fallout of climate change is profound and far-reaching. As we've discussed, the changes in weather patterns and their impact on farming have resulted in higher production costs. These costs are inevitably passed on to consumers, leading to higher prices for food and other goods. But it's not just food. Energy costs, as we've seen, are also on an upward trajectory. As traditional energy sources become more expensive and scarce, the shift towards renewable energy could also come with a price tag, at least in the short term. This is where the specter of inflation looms large. Inflation, as you may know, is the rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services is rising. When inflation increases, every dollar you own buys a smaller percentage of a good or service. So, essentially, the cost of living goes up. In the context of prepping, inflation can have significant implications. For instance, the cost of essential commodities, like canned food, water purifiers, and energy sources, could escalate. It may also impact the affordability of emergency supplies and equipment. Furthermore, inflation can erode your savings. If the inflation rate surpasses the interest rate you're getting on your savings, you're essentially losing purchasing power. This could affect your ability to invest in long-term prepping strategies. So how do we navigate these choppy economic waters? It's essential to factor in potential inflation when planning your prepping budget. Consider investing in durable goods that can withstand price fluctuations. Stocking up on essentials when prices are low can also be a good strategy. Remember, it's not about inducing panic, but about staying informed and making smart, strategic decisions. Inflation is just one more factor to consider in our prepping strategies. As we wrap up this segment, it's clear that understanding the economic implications of climate change is essential for effective prepping. So let's continue to learn, adapt, and prepare for the future, whatever it may hold.